Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing well. In today's video, we're going to be going over the two swords that came out, and that is the Falling Guillotine and the Temptation Hook. I know that a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about it, what I think about them, what I want on them. In today's video, I'm going to be going over that. Let's start with the Falling Guillotine, aka Dark Drinker 2.0. With the Dark Drinker 2.0, a lot of people keep saying, "Hey EK, why does everyone like just want Relentless and Whirlwind?" I was like, it's not a bad option, right? Whirlwind is awesome. It ups the damage, and it is something that most people want on their weapons. And Relentless also allows you, keep some of that ammo. So yes, generally Relentless and Whirlwind is what most folks want. And in this area here, Swords Master Guard is one that is, something that most people want on their sword. In the first area, you have different things, and I know that a lot of folks will tell you just go for the one that gives you the most impact, right? Most impact, and that is between Hone Edge and Jagged Edge. You can see here that Hone Edge gives you a +2 and Jagged Edge gives you a +4. Now, is there a big difference between Hone Edge and Jagged Edge? And what do I prefer? Jagged Edge gives you +4, but also takes away your ammo capacity, and it only brings impact up by 2. Whereas Hone Edge, you don't lose any or gain any ammo, but you gain +2, which is why here I preferably like to use Hone Edge. The masterwork is always going to be impact. And with this roll that you have here, I kind of have a few advice for this, right? I don't have this roll yet, because I haven't really been farming for the actual sword yet. So I don't have this roll yet. I just have the Curator that I got first. I always tell people, if you want to get the best output damage out, you're going to do 3 light swipes and then your heavy attack. Why are you doing 3 light swipes and then your heavy attack? Is because you're stacking up what Whirlwind Blade could do. And once you stack it up, you can then use your heavy attack as the finish project. And I don't think I can even use it on this ogre here. We can try, but I don't know how well this is gonna go. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the sword also has a delayed damage. I don't know what that is. Maybe Bungie's gonna fix it in the future. And as you can see, I kind of went through him that time. But yes, the smart thing to do is 3 light swipes then a heavy. Why? Because that heavy is going to take it straight up to 5. You don't want to sit here and swipe 5 times and then use your heavy. That just takes too long. That takes way too long. And it's too much effort as well. Whereas 1, 2, 3, and boom, magic, you're up to 5. All right. Here is where I'm going to go in a little bit detailed, and I want to change this up a little bit. All right, because the roll that we just spoke about, that roll was made to do damage on bosses. That is to go in, boss face time, let me crank up. The next roll I'm going to talk about is for ad clearing, and I don't think most folks, some people probably thought about it, some people didn't. I actually got lucky enough to get my hands on it, and this roll here is going to be a tireless surrounded roll. Okay, I repeat myself, a tireless surrounded. Why do I want a tireless surrounded sword? The surrounded mod gives you 57% extra damage on your sword when you're surrounded. Tireless grants you sword ammo for every other power sword kill. So let's say that I'm surrounded by a bunch of thralls or a bunch of acolytes or taken enemies, whatever it is. With my heavy attack and surrounded on, I am guaranteed to kill them. And every time that I kill them, I'm also getting ammo back. All right. Now, I didn't say that this was the best sword or the best thing needed on the sword, but this is pretty good when it comes to ad clearing. So if you go into stuff like Menagerie or just activities that have a bunch of enemies, or if you're doing Reckoning, this roll right here is something to look at. I know that most folks probably didn't look into it, but this is going to be your next best thing. Now, let's go over to the next sword, which is the Temptation Hook. All right. And with the Temptation Hook, there's a bunch of different options here. And I had a lot of people come up to me. They were like, EK, Roland's Whirlwind is still better than Roland's and Vorpal. And I kind of, I've been chasing down a few different roles with this sword, guys. I haven't fully gotten a chance to test out what I truly want on it just yet, but I do want to go through and break it down. All right, now we all know that this sword has a heavy projectile attack, right? That means that it goes further and it hits enemies and you don't have to get close. Now hear me out here. Having whirlwind on this isn't bad, right? But you can see that when your guard is fully charged, you get to do more damage than when it is not charged. And I can actually, we're going to point that out right on the ogre here. When it's fully charged, I do about almost a third of his life, right? When it's not fully charged, I barely scratch him. Do we see the difference here? So this is where Sword Master Guard is really good on this sword. Now, since this sword is made to be a ranged attack sword, here's my thought process about this, because everyone's like, man, Vorpal on the sword is not that good. I think Vorpal on the sword is actually pretty smart, because instead of needing whirlwind to be your thing, Vorpal is going to be your action. You no longer need to have Relentless Strike, because it relies on having 3 light attacks within a short amount of time, grant sword ammo. You don't need that anymore. So now Vorpal and Tireless are going to be your friend here. Vorpal and Tireless are going to be your friend here. Why do you want Tireless? If you're doing a ranged attack and you kill something, and that thing chains on to something else and kills another thing, you're getting ammo back. I feel like a lot of people have like kind of misconstrued it. It's not just against bosses. It's against like yellow bars. I made an entire video on Vorpal, and if you need to check it out, I can put the link in the description. But Vorpal is a very underrated perk, and I think this sword can be really good even in Grandmasters, just because you don't have to be close to a target to hit it, and you get to do a ton of damage, especially against champions, since Vorpal works on champions. And instead of having even boss spec here, I can throw on major spec, because champions are considered majors because they're ultras. So when it comes down to it, my gyro temptation hook is going to be a tireless Vorpal. I haven't gotten it yet, but when I do get it, it'll be awesome. And the one for bosses, like I said, would be the falling guillotine, because the falling guillotine actually allows you to do more damage on bosses, and you can kind of keep it on because you have relentless and whirl would be a thing. But on temptation hook, hear me out here, guys. Just, when you get the chance, if you end up getting one of these rolls as you're going for a Relentless Whirlwind, save it. See what it can do, because it has a lot of potential. And, I feel like Bungie's not going to put in 2 things that are the same in the game, and, you get to use it whether it's Arc or Void. I think they were both made to be very situational things. You may not agree with it, but if you're open-minded and you think about other ways to try to play Destiny, I think this is one of the coolest ways to do it. All right, and having Sword Master Guard on, when you use your full attack, it takes about maybe 3 to 4 seconds to get it right back. Is it worth it? I think so. Now, I'm gonna add an Easter egg in here. All right, just a quick Easter egg. I threw this in the vault, right? And I kind of, if I get a better one, I'll probably talk about it. For some reason, Bungie is giving us a negative space, and it is allowed to have destruction break. I don't know why, but they threw it in there. So maybe if you get one, just keep it in your vault. The reason why I say that is because if they ever end up putting barrier on swords, this sword would be really pretty nice to use. And the cool thing about this too is that last season we had overload swords, so you just never know. And this thing is probably going to be going up to season 14, or I mean 1360 seems like it's season 14. So when you get a chance, if you do the dungeon, you get the sword disruption break, and you have better rolls in these spots compared to mine. Make sure you keep it. Just throw it in the vault. Throw it in the vault. It doesn't hurt. Just one space in the vault. But once again, thank you guys for watching this. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video. See ya. Now, we all know that this sword has a heavy projectile attack, right? That means that it goes further and it hits enemies and you don't have to get close. Now hear me out here.